So Wuthering Waves obviously has been picking up a lot with the Rinascita update, and I just kind of realized that, well, there's going to be a lot of new players coming over to the game. And well, I kind of wanted to make this video. As I said, I'm going to try to do a lot more kind of gameplay videos on this channel a little bit more. And well, I wanted to make this video to talk about like kind of what new players should be doing at the start of the game. You know, what can they expect? What are some kind of tips that they can use to actually, you know, improve their gameplay overall, and what I've learned from kind of playing the game as well. So I'm not saying that you need to take any of this advice like completely seriously. Obviously, if you don't want to do one of the things that I suggest, then obviously don't do it. But I do think that a lot of these kind of tips that I've got written down, I've got a whole like you know, kind of like note page written down of a lot of things that maybe you could be working on while you're kind of, you know, getting into Wuthering Waves. Well, you know, you can choose to, you know, take some of the advice, you can choose not to. I don't really mind. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day. But yeah, pretty much I just kind of realized, well, there's a lot of people coming over from the PS5 and a lot of people who are just seeing this update and just like starting to play the game. So we're going to go into some of the stuff that you need to, you know, kind of do in Wuthering Waves and what I suggest you do whenever you play the game. Now, the first one is a little bit of a weird one because you would expect me to say like, oh, you know, do this, do that. Like there's a certain thing in the map. You gotta do this. No, the first point I would say is take your time. And I don't even know why my character changed there. But yeah, take your time. I think taking your time is very important in Wuthering Waves. And it's something that I maybe should have done a little bit more whenever the game first came out. Is that, you know, I didn't really give it enough time to kind of let the story sink in. And also just kind of explore the world and like level up a lot of my stuff. Because as you can see, I am rank 70, union level. And so, you know, I'm not actually that high level. Like, you know, I'm kind of high leveled. I'm like further enough. But like there's a lot of people that are at 80 right now. I think Atoma's at 80 right now. So again, there's a lot of people out there who are like at 80. And that's mainly due to me not exploring the world enough, me not going around the world enough and just doing a lot of the stuff around some of the Huanglong area, which I definitely recommend you guys do because, again, there is a lot of things that you need to take your time on. Now, it's not only just exploring things, but also just in terms of like trying to pull characters. Obviously, there's the gacha system where you can actually pull any of these characters and weapons. Well, I definitely recommend taking your time whenever it comes to all of these. Do your research, you know, look into what characters you might want to use. And, you know, it's okay to save your Astra. I think that's a main, you know, kind of point that I want to get across. It's okay to save your Astra. It's okay to wait and just like take your time. Again, I'm going to keep saying take your time because it is a very important point. And also the same goes for the standard banner as well, because you will get a free 5-star of your choice. Maybe use up some of your like free standard pools and kind of go through the story a little bit, and then later on go ahead and choose the 5-star that you want, because you might end up getting a copy. And I think that's one thing that a lot of players like fatally miss out, is that maybe, you know, they want Janjin and then they actually, you know, select her on the selector because they're like, ooh, new 5-star character, and then they end up getting another one, which, you know, maybe some people will be happy with that, but also, you know, I know some people want to have like a big kind of breadth of different characters that they can use, because it is very helpful, you know, rather than having copies. And it's also important to know that, you know, you probably will get copies of these characters later on. You know, I've got quite a few at this point from all the free pools that you kind of get. So don't stress out if you don't have any copies or you don't have like a certain character. You probably will get one eventually, because I think I've got every single standard character in the game right now. So again, it's not that big of a deal. But then we can keep going over to some other stuff. There's going to be a lot of people rushing over to Rinascita. You know, Rinascita obviously is massive. It looks absolutely amazing. And that's the main reason why a lot of people come over. You know, people are really excited to see what this area can bring. And so far, my experience of it has been really, really good. But obviously, if you're starting out the game, well, you're going to be over here in Jinzhou and the Huanglong area. And, you know, I say it's important to take your time, because there will be a lot of people trying to rush to get over to this new area. And I get how exciting it is. I get how exciting a new area and Rinascita and all the characters can be, but I definitely recommend taking your time to kind of, you know, go through the story and explore a lot of Jinzhou before you actually go ahead over to Rinascita. Now, obviously, you know, you can play the story however you like. You can play it, you know, quickly. You can, you know, take your time, as I'm saying. But I definitely recommend, especially with the story, just to actually go through it and kind of like, if you properly want to get into this game, because I know a lot of people do play this game differently. Some people want to go in there, build characters, pull for characters, etc., and just get out. But if you actually wanted to get immersed into the Wuthering Waves world, I definitely recommend not skipping the story like the option that they give you, and instead actually going through the Huanglong story, playing it, getting an experience of the lore and everything like that, going around some of the world, maybe taking on some of the holograms, some of the bosses, maybe some other kind of stuff around Huanglong. I kind of messed up on that, but yeah. And then afterwards, once you kind of naturally get there, you will get to Rinascita eventually. And, you know, if you do enjoy the story of Huanglong and everything like that enough, then you will get over here pretty quickly. It's not going to take you that long. But there are going to be a lot of people out there who are going to be rushing to get to the end. So I definitely recommend, you know, waiting out a little bit, because, yeah, there is a lot of people trying to rush over. But let's get on to the next point, which is don't spend all your wave plates. That's a very big important thing. Now, obviously, there's a couple ways you can get wave plates. Obviously, you got the reserve one. So if you don't play, your wave plates actually kind of stack up to 480, which is really good. And also you get your 240 daily ones, which, yeah, if it goes over 240, then it goes into reserve, which, you know, is a little bit less. And you've also got your crystal solvents, which you'll get a ton of, you know. Wuthering Waves, Kuro Games, they love to hand out free rewards, whether that's in events, whether that's with mail, whether that's with pretty much anything going on. You will get a lot of crystal solvents, but definitely make sure you save them and actually use them on things that could be useful. And I think that's a pretty obvious point. Obviously, it's a thing that happens in most games. For example, if you play Genshin or Honkai or something like that, you probably know that it is a good idea to save a lot of these kind of mechanics. Now, obviously, you can use them for stuff like ascending characters. Obviously, ascending characters is a very important part of, farming stuff, and also, farming for XP materials. I do think that's okay, but definitely do your research. And again, it goes back to my point of take your time, know what you're kind of, farming and stuff like that. Don't waste all of your crystal solvent on, say, like shell credits or something like that, when you could get it, through something else, like doing a quest or, using shops or something like that, which again, will be very, very useful. So again, just make sure you're kind of like careful whenever you spend your wave plates. And then that moves us on to our next point, because again, there is a lot of kind of like integrating points in this whole video. And the next one obviously is to, this one first is to take advantage of the databank system, which obviously will help you get some of these rewards, which will help you build your characters even better. Now, this is the databank system. It has levels going all the way up to 24. Now, you might not be able to get to 24 straight away just because of the Rinascita echoes and everything like that. But pretty much this is a very useful system if you want to get free pools, you want to get free materials for your characters, because you can see every single level is just behind me. You get asteroid and also some level up materials, which is really, really good. And the way that you get these kind of levels is just by collecting all the echoes. You literally run around the world, explore, kill an echo or whatever, pick it up, grab it, it goes into your data bank, and then it levels up. So I definitely recommend going around and doing that. Whenever I first started the game, I went around and actually, just kind of farmed them. It doesn't take too long. It takes a couple of hours if you just go around, just taking them all out. If you just stick on a YouTube video in the background, it'll be done in no time, and you get a crap ton of asteroid from it. So I definitely recommend taking advantage of that. And obviously, that's the same for Union level too. Obviously, Union level, you'll get a lot of kind of things for it, as well as these bundles. These bundles, not these ones, the level bundles. Here we go. You actually get level bundles every time you like level up, which these ones are like 5 Radiant Tide. I think some of the other ones have even more, which again is great. And it seems like if you go and do your kind of quests, you do your exploration, everything like that, you will get these packs which will give you even more pulls. So that's why it's also really good to take your time in terms of like doing quests and stuff, because you will get the opportunity to get these packs which will get you more pulls for free. And that's only if you're free to play. Obviously, if you're a whale, then it doesn't matter as much. But this is mainly for a lot of free-to-play players wanting to get the most out of their characters, getting the most out of their asteroid and everything like that. Now, obviously, we can keep going on with another point, which kind of, ties into all my other points, which is understand your characters. I think this is a very important one, is that, you can go through some of the characters that you have, and even some of the ones that aren't even out at the moment. Obviously, there's a lot that are, coming up, or you don't even have. For example, I know you'll be starting late, so maybe you won't have a character like Chang-Li. Chang-Li doesn't have a rerun banner yet, but, maybe she will in the future, and maybe you want to, plan to pull on her. And I think it is very important to just kind of understand some of these characters that are out, so that you can then go ahead and use them later on. Because I think that just having a general understanding of how these characters work, and how they work in teams, like, not only just understanding the character's kind of abilities and things, it's also just like how the teams integrate with each other, and how you can use them in places like the TOA and the hologram and places like that. Because again, endgame is a very, very big part. You can get a lot of rewards from that. Now, obviously, if you're not like kind of a big end game person, then maybe you're not going to want to, focus in on these teams. But I definitely recommend, if you do want to be like kind of taking out a lot of this stuff in the future, to kind of just learn what characters you want to pull on, learn which teams are like working well, which characters work well with other teams, because maybe early on you get like a character like, I don't know, you'll probably get Zhang Liao, something like that. I don't know if he's still free whenever you do get him, but maybe if you do have Zhang Liao, you could search up a Zhang Liao team, maybe start off with like a free-to-play one with like Baija and other characters like that, and then later on you can plan to pull for other characters that work well with him, and then eventually, you have a pretty good team. And that's like what I've done. For example, I've got my Carlotta team, which has Zhezhe and also Shorekeeper in it, and then I've got my like Camellia team, which can use Camellia, Sanhua, and also Verena, and then finally I've got my Jinshi team, which is Jinshi, Yinlin, and Baija whenever I have a build. So again, just planning ahead and stuff like that will really help you in terms terms of your damage and things like that, especially if you're struggling. Now, if you're not struggling too much, then it's not a big deal. You can get through most of the story content and exploring pretty easily. But if you do want to do some of these events and some of these kind of endgame stuff, then you will struggle a little bit if you don't have your characters like fully built. And I think just like getting ahead of it and just like optimizing things early will be really good, because you won't be able to get like good materials off the bat or anything like that, but you will be able to kind of plan for it. And then at least you can wait until you can get up to those 5-star like materials, for example, like your echoes, things like that, and also talent materials, whatever. Then you can actually plan ahead and actually, get your characters good and have a good team, rather than, for example, me, I didn't really know what I was doing half the time. So I've got some characters like Kalchara who are sat on level 70 who I don't even use anymore, and I've just wasted all of that material on him when to be honest, I don't think I'll ever use him again, unless I really, really do need him. But for now, I've wasted a lot of my materials on that. So I definitely recommend just like, figuring out what you actually want in terms of your teams and your characters. Now, obviously, you can keep going. Shops are a very important part. Now, this is something that a lot of people don't know about. Well, I say a lot of people, most people should know about this. But for example, there's one in Rinascita, which I'll run over to at the moment. And there's one in pretty much every single zone. There's some in Jinzhou. There's some in Mount Furman. There's one in the Black Shores as well. It's pretty much these little things, these shops. Now, obviously, these will look different in the different areas. As I said, there's like some over here as well. There's one in the main city of Mount Furman. It's got these little present things like souvenir stores. And there's also some other ones like cooking stores and things which can help you with food if you need that. But mainly the souvenir stores and the pharmacy as well will really help you out too. Is the souvenir stores, what they do is you get like kind of in-game currency for exploring the world. It'll be different. It won't be like shell credits or anything like that. It'll be a different separate currency. And you can go to the store. You can literally say, I want to buy these gifts, and then, or like whatever, wherever you are. And then you get these like extra, like for example, in Rinascita, it's Monet. And I forgot what the place in Jinzhou takes, but it's a different kind of currency. And you can buy stuff like, upgrade materials. For example, I buy it. There we go. I've got it. And now I can use that to upgrade one of my characters. But you can also buy stuff like asterite and also some other really useful materials, which will help you along your way. And there is a lot of these. As I said, there is some across all of the regions, meaning that you're going to be able to get a lot of different kind of character upgrade materials, which will help you. And obviously that goes back to some of my other points of saving your wave plates, because you're going to save a lot of wave plates by just buying it from the store. And the same goes for like, the pharmacy. As I said, the pharmacy is actually pretty useful over in Jinzhou. If you have a character that needs flowers, usually it will be in the pharmacy, so you can just go ahead and buy it. Now, if you get up to like level 90, you won't actually be able to get all of them, because again, they only sell like a certain amount. But you will be able to get a character pretty well leveled up with a lot of the pharmacy kind of stuff, which again is really good. So I definitely recommend just checking out all the different shops and seeing what you can get, because they are very, very useful, much more than people think. And some people just kind of forget and they don't understand what the currency is, and they don't get these rewards. So definitely look out for that. Definitely take massive advantage. Also, there is a secret one. I do have a separate video on this, on how to get it if you really want to. There's a quest over in Tiger's Moor where you can actually unlock a different shop over here where you can get even more stuff, including like some weapons, and also you can find some free weapons around the map too, which is really, really cool from doing like quests and things like that, which again is great. It's going to help out your account a lot. Now, another one is participating in events. This is the events page. It's up in the top right corner up here. You can literally press Alt, go to events, and you can see these are all the different events that are on at the moment. I definitely recommend taking a massive advantage of these. Obviously, you got gift ones like this, where they just straight up give you stuff every day for like just logging in, which is really cool. But then you've also got some like combat ones like Pincer Maneuver, where you pretty much just go in, do some combat stuff, you get points, and then you can, claim asteroid for that. And the same goes for even more. Like some of these are obviously for like trials for skins, trials for characters and stuff like that, which you can do. And some of them are like story quests and like holograms, which you don't need to worry about too much for now. This is just like the end game stuff down the bottom. But mainly the ones at the top, for example, Traces of Tides, Tales of the Isles. Now you probably won't have this if you start out the game, because again, you'll be over in Huanglong. But you'll have a lot of different events like this, which you can do. And I definitely recommend for the ones like Pincer Maneuver, you can see above my head, there's 14 days left of this. So, they are very limited. Although 14 days seems like quite a lot, they do go away really quickly. And then you realize, oh, I've got to do all the fights. So definitely do it as quickly as you can, just so that you can make sure you get the rewards, or just remember to do them in time, or else, you're going to be missing out on a lot of asteroid just for missing out on an event, which again, wouldn't be very good, especially if you are free to play. But obviously not everyone is, so maybe that's not much of an issue for you. Now obviously the final thing that I wanted to say is that the final thing for a lot of new players is just to stay in the loop. I think staying in the loop in terms of content, staying in the loop in terms of like different kind of posts or whatever, and just kind of interacting with content creators will help you stay in the loop of Wuthering Waves, know what's good. For example, you can have a lot of different content creators. For example, if you want build guides, things like that, there's Braxophone, there's Saint Tontus, there's people like that who are really good at building characters, who are really good at showcasing characters, telling you how good they are, everything like that. If you want new stuff, there's people like me, Styx, there's like so many people out there that do kind of new stuff. So, you know, you can check us out if you want that kind of thing. And then there's like more entertaining people who do some more interesting like topics, or just kind of just overall funny videos. For example, like Atoma, Captain Cabinets, Ethan, you know, there's for lore, you got Amethyst Abrams, you got Oofy TV and Sydney Marr. There's so many people out there in the YouTube kind of space at the moment who are making different content, whether it's for all those different things I just mentioned, which I definitely recommend you just kind of keep an eye on depending on what you're interested in. Obviously, you know, you might not be interested in building characters as much, so maybe you don't watch as many of them, or maybe you're not interested in the lore, so maybe you don't watch as much as them. But you can go and like interact with the other kind of, you know, creators, and it will keep you in the loop and keep you like kind of just aware of what's going on in Wuthering Waves. And as well, I think it just kind of provides the extra hype that you need to keep playing the game, because currently Wuthering Waves does have some like kind of down patches where it's like, ooh, okay, there's not much going on. But I think content creators and stuff like that really do fill in that gap for now, and hopefully Wuthering Waves can kind of fix, you know, add some more events and stuff to kind of fill the gap even further. But but I just say, you know, check out these content creators and definitely stay in the loop about what's going on, because it would be really nice to have more people in the community and interacting with the posts overall. But yeah, that's pretty much all the kind of points I had. Obviously, let me know down in the comments if I'm missing any of the players that did watch this video and, you know, are actual players of the game and aren't necessarily that new, because I do think some of these are some really good, you know, points that people do need to just like kind of take into account. Now, as I said, you don't have to follow all of them. So, you know, if you don't want to, you know, it's totally fine. Just put out some tips out there just for some people that maybe want to optimize some of their gameplay, whether, you know, they want to optimize stuff for building characters or just doing some other stuff as well. But yeah, if you guys did enjoy this video and you do kind of enjoy these kind of gameplay videos, because this is, you know, some new stuff, and, you know, just kind of looking around the actual game itself, then definitely leave a like and subscribe. And yeah, just leave a comment down below, just anything, you know, tell me what kind of platform you're playing on, you know, how long you've been playing the game, because it is really interesting. I want to know if you guys have just started playing or if you've been a long time player of Wuthering Waves. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got for this video. As I said, leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. That's all. See ya.